This conference will now be recorded.
Last class I have given you some examples, right? Were you able to do some of those, like Java examples? So we have seen Java examples pertaining to inheritance, polymorphism, class and objects here anyway. And in polymorphism, we have seen overloading, how to overload a function. And in inheritance, we have seen how to extend a superclass or father class or parent class, and how do a child classes inherit features from parent class, and what is the overriding, how does the child class overridden method takes precedence, right? So let's try. Can anybody define overloading? So this is an important interview question. If asked, you should be able to answer it correctly, because this is a basic and important as far as Selenium is concerned. So anyone?
The same name but different parameters.
Oh, you can't tell like that in the interview, can you? It is correct though, but you have to tell in a proper language. How do you? I mean, go ahead and do your best. I'll correct it. Yes.
If a class has a multiple methods having same name and different parameters.
Yeah, you're correct. And anyone else can do it in a better way? Anyone else? Try. Okay. Yeah, that's the same thing. You whatever you said is correct. So it's the using the same name of function or method or function with different signature. Signature means parameters. Number of parameters change. Parameters. Number and order also. Number, order, parameters. Changing. Okay, so you can define like this. So practical aspect, what is the purpose of overloading? Why do we overload at all a function? Even if it is a development or automation, why do we have to? Can we give it different name for the function and go ahead with that? That is because we want to use the same name. For example, I want to use the same name like add numbers, right? Yeah, add numbers I don't want to change, because the more the names for the similar functionality, the more the confusion while using it. So I want to stick to name, but I will change the parameter. So when I call, I should be able to use whichever I want to by passing the number of parameters or order of parameters in a certain manner. So example one is public void. Yeah, tell me. Add numbers. Okay, this is how it looks like. Camel case. Always start your function name with a small letter, and each new word starts with a capital letter. So that's a function no convention standard of naming nomenclature. Okay, so this takes integer a comma integer b. That's my first function. That's how I declared it, I mean defined it. Okay, so now next function, if I want to overload it, can anyone tell an overloaded example of this? Example is important in terms of understanding. The definition is just for saying in the interview. Yes, tell me an example of overloaded function for add numbers.
Integer a, integer b, integer c.
Correct, that's it. So how do I differentiate between these two while calling? add numbers, if I pass this, it's gonna call the first function. Add numbers, if I pass this, it's gonna call the second function. Based on the parameters I pass while calling, it's automatically gonna call appropriate function. That's all. Okay, can anyone else tell me another example? Can this be a overloaded function? Yeah,
Yes.
I change the return type. Yes, it can. So the only difference is, how do you call this? I'll call and assign it to another number. So I'll call integer sum, declare it, and assign the sum to add numbers. Because it is returning, I can do that 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So these are all examples which are useful while coding and automation. Okay, now tell me another example. I can also keep private. Remember, these are all different examples. Private. If I want to use the method in the same class only, not other classes, I will keep private. So if a method is private, it cannot be called. Even if you instantiate this class, you cannot even use this because it's invisible. Because it's private, it is visible to only within class. Outside classes, it's invisible. You can't even call it. And okay, so private, let's say double, add numbers. Okay, so integer a, double b. Okay, can this be an example for overloaded function of add numbers, or wrong? Is it correct or wrong? Anyone? So just check the definition. Is it according to the definition, or is it going away from the definition? Yes or no? Quick.
Private is a safety, and then private is okay, and then all the time we use the private is, and then because the public is everyone local, that's why we use the private.
That is okay. That is fine. But is it correct? Is it a good example for overloaded
Yeah,
function? Okay.
yeah.
Yes. That's it. Yeah, that's all. Okay. So now, how do I pass integer a to 3.4? Okay. So that's how you call. I called it and assigned it to double because it's returning me double, so that I can use the sum of numbers within my program. I can manipulate it. Here I cannot manipulate it because it's not returning anything. It might have sys out. I didn't define it. Definition you can do it. Okay. So you're all aware of how to do the definition. Okay. Now let's do it differently. Okay. Is this a example for overloaded function?
Yes.
No, because I changed the name. So when I change the name, it cannot be overloaded function. It's a different method, right? That's why I ask you to keenly look. Numbers, a number, right? This is not an example. This is not overloaded function. Correct. It is not add numbers, it's add number. I mean, I change it in a different manner. So if I want to go for a different function, I can go, but this is not the overloaded function. So this is not the good example either, because I am simply changing the name and keeping the same parameters. So instead, I could have gone for the already used function, already defined function. So realistically, this is you shouldn't have declared or defined like this. So basically, it's a not overloaded and cannot be suggested. Okay, let's take another example. Yeah, tell me, is it a good example of overloaded function or not?
Because we use the string and then to define the parameter.
Okay, just tell me, can I call this a overloaded function or not? Forget about the definition. I can change the definition. I can concatenate strings and I can call it a sum of strings. So, is it or not?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, it's simple. All you have to remember is the function name is same and parameters change. That's all. Order and type of parameters also, right? So that's what I said. I guess different change of number, order, and type. Yeah, let's add. Okay, definition can be anything else. Like, okay, I can define it like this. Simply, I will return x plus y. What is x plus y? It's a concatenation. If, okay, while calling, if I call like this, string concatenated string, let's call it, and if I call add numbers, that doesn't make sense, add characters, but just for an example I took it. Okay, now if I say tell me another John, and I'll pass do, right? Okay, what would the resultant output will be? Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make different output. Okay, instead of returning this, I'll return like this. I want space in between first and last name. So John Doe. So that's it. So however, it's a valid overload function. Okay, let's see the same one more time in Eclipse. Was everybody able to install Eclipse?
Yes.
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 Okay,
Yes.
if somebody is not able to install Eclipse, it's easy. That's what I was going here. Just type Eclipse for Java download in Google. All right, and go for this eclipse.org/download/packages. So it will directly take you to here where you can download 32-bit or 64-bit based on your computer's bit, 64 or 32-bit. So these are different. Don't go for this. C, C++, we don't want it, and Java developers, we don't want it. ID for Java, okay, or core Java, not Java, advanced Java, not enterprise Java beans or EEE or something. So since I typed Java, so automatically you went to the right location, so you can download this. Okay. So next Selenium download, we are coming today itself. So just type Selenium download and go for seleniumhq.org. All right, and download Selenium from here. Okay, we'll come to this in a few minutes. Don't worry. Okay, so let's do an example, quick example. Okay, when you create a class, first you create a project, new Java project. When you install, okay, so go for the project. Okay, so go for this Java project. Then it will ask you to enter the project name, which is like Java tutorial or Selenium tutorial, whatever. And then click next, finish, and just make sure you select the current Java 1.8, which is the latest version. So do not go for 1.7 because the Selenium WebDriver is not compatible. The current version 3 point something is not compatible with the older version of Java. So go for the latest version of Java and it will be compatible. Okay, once you create a project, you will get like this, and package by default will be sourced, and you can create own packages like library and test. Okay, So these we will see within the Selenium tutorial in going forward. So this is the basic. And for new class within the package, you create like this new class. And let's say we are talking about overloading, right? Okay, how do we name it? These are all important. What should be the name of the class if we want to keep example of overloading?
Add number.
Class name, that is a method name. I mean, I can call it overloading pretty much, right? Overloading example. I mean, name can be anything. Class name should always start with capital letter, and it should be comprehensive. It should be readable. I mean, if anybody else reads it, you should be able to understand, okay, this is explicitly saying everything clearly. Overloading example, okay, then they will be able to understand, okay, what's inside this. They can guess at least. Okay. Okay, so this is a small example, so I'll take runnable. I mean, I'll use PSVM, public static void main, to execute something. Okay, so now let's create two overloaded methods and call them inside it. Okay, same thing quickly. This is just a recapitulation so that you'll refresh your memory. Okay, so public, I can keep public or private, doesn't matter. Public void. Yes, tell me. Show. Okay, sysout. Sysout means system.out.println. In short, sysout, and control space will automatically expand it so that I don't have to type the whole thing. So this is the simplest example. Show this. Okay, now if I want to overload this function, let's call show only, but I'll pass parameters, isn't it? So I'll pass, like, tell me, string name. Okay, okay, I can define differently also. I can change the definition. What is the definition? What I put inside the function, that is the definition, right? So I can call it show and whatever name I enter. Okay, and if I want to like manipulate it a little bit like this, I can do it. Okay, now calling time. Okay, when I call, when I type show, oh, it went for a different shape. Okay, so always be careful. Show okay, I had to keep actually static because I'm directly going for name. Yeah, so as and when I made the function static, I don't have any problem calling. So because this is a static, the function you call must be static too. That's the rule, right? We talked about this last class. Static rules. Static and non-static. Non-static doesn't have this word static. So earlier this was a non-static method. A non-static method cannot be called in a static method. This is a static method, public static void main. So if I want to call this in another method, that has to be non-static. Since I'm directly calling this in a main method, which has to be static, and that called function must be static too. So since we are seeing the example of overloading, so I'll make both static. If I'm calling this in a separate class, yes, I can call it by instantiating this class, or if it is static, I can directly call with the class name, overloading example dot show. Or otherwise, if it is a non-static like this, it should be overloading example OE equals new overloading example. Then I'll use the instance OE dot show. So this you already know. We talked about this. Okay, so now I'll make both static. All right. Okay, so now how do you differentiate between these two? Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. Show. There are two functions, right? here you can easily choose which function you wanna call based on the parameter. So next time I wanna call this one, so I can choose. Now it is asking me to enter the name, right? So let's use John. Okay, now let's execute this. How do you execute? You always right click and on the class run as Java application. Okay. Okay, so the first function displays this, second function, so output is this. That's because the definition changed. However, the name is same and parameters change. Hence, these two are called overload function. I mean, this is the overload function of this one. Okay, that's a simplest example. Now you can declare, define all of these if you want to. So that's your homework. Okay, I am not doing this. I'm just putting it here. Okay, so now this is okay. Whenever you keep something like this comment, you always put in the slashes. And you can call like this. Where do you call? Inside the PSVM. Okay, so the errors are because these are not defined, right? If you want to define, you have to define like this. I'm not going to define all of them. Okay, sys out a plus b. Okay, I can call it. So then this will be correct. Add numbers. Every time you have to end with semicolon. Okay, so I have not defined it, but I cannot leave it like this because if I leave it, it will throw errors, right? So I will just comment it. So whoever picks it up, they'll uncomment it and define it like this above. Okay, so these also I am commenting. Okay, so we already talked about this. This has to be static. Since I'm taking the example within the same class, it has to be static. I mean, if you keep these in library, let's call them overloading example and overloading test in the test, then it's a proper, like earlier I showed, conditional examples here, all them in. So this is the realistic way, but for the simple example, take like this. Okay, so the second one, I mean the last one is defined too, so just want to use that to show it to you quickly. Add numbers x plus y, right? Okay, so what happened here? Add numbers, John, change add numbers to static. See, so same thing. So now it's static. Okay, let's quickly execute this one and we'll move to the next step. Okay, so 5, correct. So what happened to concatenated string? I didn't do anything about it. Okay, so if I want to use it, I can use it in another system mode. That's all we can do. So concatenate string equals, what is it? Concatenated string. And if I want to do any modifications to it, I should be able to do it. Okay, what is the error here? If I want to concatenate both, I have to use a plus sign. Okay, so let's do some more fancy thing here. Let's call welcome and plus sign. Okay, now always save before executing because it's not going to execute the updated one. Okay, concatenate string welcome John Doe. So this is how you manipulate with the strings always. So this is important because for the display purpose in the report, automation report, you should be able to print whatever you want, like not the default one. So you can manipulate, play with the strings like this. Okay, so these definitions and callings I am leaving it to you. And next we will move to another important topic called overriding. We have already seen, but since these are two important topics, I'm emphasizing on this. Okay, can anybody recall what the overriding is? Just tell me what you understood from last class. In brief, don't have to elaborate.
Change the method defined in the parent class into the child class.
Right, yeah, go on. So far good.
If a class inherit the methods of the parent class, we call
Yes,
that class is a child class. So in child class, we can modify the methods defined in the parent class, like its definition, and that is called overriding.
correct, yeah. So I want to add some more to it. So you can modify the definition of the parent class in a child class, and when you call it, the which one is going to take precedence? Child's course method. That is called
Yeah.
overriding. I mean, that is the complete definition. Okay, no worries. That's correct. Okay, so let's try to define it completely. So basically, it's redefining the parent class method within the child class. Okay, I'll show you example. Don't worry again. So child class, how do you do it? It's a child class extends the parent class. So parent class has a method called A. Now you take the same method, you redefine, change the definition for the same method A in child class as well. Now calling time, the change happens. What change we will see? Okay, now what happens? The parent class method must matches with the child class method in the return type and parameter list. That means that what? The return type must not change, parameter list must not change, only the definition. So that is the difference between overloading and overriding. In the overloading, I changed the parameter list also. I added another parameter and I changed the return type also. But in overriding, you cannot do that. The name must match, including the return type and parameter. Only the definition changes. Correct? You understand what I'm saying? Overloading, I changed everything, including the definition. See here, there are no parameters. I added a parameter. There is, I mean, it's wide. Okay, I could have changed it to return type also, and the definition change it too, right? All the three things can change in the overloading or cannot change. However, in overriding, these things must remain the same. Only the definition has to change, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be. It will be a mixture of overloading and overriding, and which is not correct. So always overriding, keep in mind that the return type, parameter list, and the function name are exactly similar in parent and child class. Only the definition, like what I put inside, like sysout or whatever, this is just a simple definition. But whatever I put, that can change. Okay, that's why I'm overriding. It has to change. Otherwise, I could have taken the parent class method itself. Okay. So did everybody understand this, or any questions in the? How do you say this? Overriding means redefining the parent class method within the child class, keeping the method name, return type, parameter list same, but change the definition. That's all you have to say. Did I make it clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Take an example by means of example, so you should be able to see. So, for example, I'll create another class, simple class. Okay, let's call it. Don't worry about this source folder. This is a project name, right? This is a source folder default, and the package I am creating this class is test. Okay, I can change this to, I should have created already before changing. I can browse here, yeah, or I can directly right click on that package and create, and the name. So these are all modifiers. If I keep it public, other package, private, protected, abstract, final, don't worry about it. Superclass is always java.lang.object only, so don't worry about this. If I want to keep it keep the public static requirement, I can click on it. I can create one. So constructors from superclass I will show you later. And comments, we don't want any comments. You can generate comments, and we don't want any interface right now, which is not useful for our automation. We don't use any interfaces, except for the fact that WebDriver is interface and Chrome driver is a implementation of it. So that is by defaulting. Okay, anyway, so what do you want to call this class? What would be the appropriate name? Yeah, what are we talking about right now?
Overriding.
Overriding.
Overriding example would be the appropriate. This, okay, it may not be the only name. This is the appropriate name. I can call it example of overriding, whatever. But just keep in mind that it has to start with a capital letter. Okay, so everybody has Eclipse installed and at least did one program, then they will understand correctly. So if you have not done so, do it quickly. Okay, so author name, everything starts. You can remove this author name. So these are the comments. So you can instead, let's say, test case name overriding example. You can keep whatever you want here. I can also put updated on, right? And yeah, test case name, and you can also give regression suite. This belongs to regression test case, not the smoke test. You can say whatever. That is all commented. These won't be executed. So these are the class level comments. You can keep whatever comments you can, but which one it is preceding, that's how you're gonna identify them. These are preceding the class, so I will call them class level comments. If some comment is gonna precede a function, it's a function level comments, method level comments. Okay, so what do we need here? What should we do? Overloading, right? Yes, tell me.
You should create a method here.
Overloading, we need two. For example, we need two classes, right? One is a parent
Yeah.
class and a child class. Okay, now I want to just rename this. I want to be able to recognize just by looking at the name itself. So I want to rename this. So in two ways I can do. I can right click, yeah, and whenever you rename, always right click, refactor, rename. Do not rename just like that, because wherever it is called, it has to be changed to. You may be calling this somewhere else too. So every instance of calling must change. So otherwise it will throw error. So always do it properly. See, renaming. This will take care of all the references. It updates all references. We don't have any references right now. If it is a existing project, there may be reference already. If you join existing project, there must have already been a automation project developed a little bit. So always it's a good idea to do this renaming. Okay, overriding example, let's call it. Do not put any underscores, that's not a good idea. So overriding example, instead of example I'll use parent. Okay, so you can name whatever you want. This is just I came up with. Okay. Okay, overriding parent. See, automatically it changes here also. I don't have to do anything. Okay. So in the parent, what should I do? I'll create some methods, right? Let's use a simple method. So public void show. Okay, I'll define it like this. Show parent. Okay, so that I know exactly what I'm calling parent or child. Show parent. All right. Okay, now in order to demonstrate overriding example, what else do I need? Do I need some other class, or do I need what? Or can I define in the same class?
Do you have to create a class?
Yeah, so I have to create another class. Okay, the shortcut is you just keep your cursor here and Control N will automatically pop up. So just make sure first time you create the correct class, automatically next time onward it will create. So our class is Java class, right? So Java class. So next time Control N automatically bring this up here. It will remember your last action. So next. So that's a shortcut, Control N instead of right clicking. So overriding child. All right. Okay. So finish. Okay. Now this is a child. If I want to inherit this show function, what should I do? I have to extend it. Otherwise, I cannot inherit the features of the parent. Extends is the keyword, right? And extend what? Overriding parent.
Together.
No spaces here. Overriding parent. Override. There is some typographical error. Correct.
Is
Okay.
a capital. O is a capital. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the tool is going to take care of the initial mistakes that we do. So we can, but some things you have to think. I mean, tool will not be able to tell. Okay. Okay. Now tell me, what should we do, or how do I demonstrate this overriding? I already told you. So tell me. Okay, I'll just make it a little more complicated. Okay, this is too. Okay, so since I am saying it will inherit all the features, what are the features? Features can be variables and methods, right? Not just methods, everything that is inside. So let's also declare some methods and initialize them. Let's declare integer x, integer y, and a method. Addition. Public void. Let's call it show. So in this style, or let's call it initialize. Okay, or setup. Okay, so in our automation we will use setup. So what I'll use is I'll just allocate some values to x, y in this one. So it acts as a constructor. Okay, don't worry what constructor is right now. We'll come to that later. Simply I will take x and assign 10 to it, and I'll simply take y, assign 20 to it. Okay, so that means I'm just initializing it, setting it up, setting the values. Okay, now that's my first function, and second function I'll simply, I don't have to put public every time, so integer add. Okay, so in the integer add, since it's integer, I have to add a return statement, so I will add. Now here what I'll do is I'll return addition of this, so I'll accept x. Okay, so I'll also put sysout. A return function can also have sysout, so it will serve both purposes. It will print something to the console and it will return something, so I can get best of both worlds. So I'll simply the sum equals x plus y. Right? Now I'll return x plus y only here. Okay, so here I am printing the sum as well as returning it. So I got best of both worlds. Okay, now that's a parent class. That's how I define, let's say. Now let's go to the child class. Okay, so here I will declare integer p comma q. I can declare in the same go. So unlike I did, so you can declare in the, if both are of same type, data type, you can put a comma and declare it. Okay, so now what else? I don't try to use public every time. Void show this. So here I will just assign the values, same like a parent but different name. Okay, now it's a time to demonstrate actual definition. What is the overloading? Now I'll take the parent class method and try to redefine it, right? So now what is the parent class method exactly? Remember this. Do not change the parameter list and return type, just the definition. Okay, now you can go back and take a look. Integer x, integer y, blah blah blah, right? So in order for not doing any mistake, I'll just copy paste. That's fine. If you actually type, it will cause some human errors. Okay, now in the child class, in order to override it, what can I do and what can't I do? Tell me. Can I make this long? No, because
No.
yeah, I already told you the return type, okay, cannot change, must match the return type, so it has to be integer one. Can I change this parameter to double?
No.
No, because same reason, parameter list
Not,
cannot change. And
nothing will change because you will change anything else and the problem is arise.
yeah, I'm just showing to everyone so that they'll remember. Can I add another variable like this? No. No. What can I change the return? Okay, no. What can I change? Here I can change, right?
Yeah.
Sum in, I mean definition. The simple definition is this out, right? I can do whatever I want to. I can add, let's say, integer z equals x times 2. Okay, I can do some calculation, little bit math inside. That's no problem. That's all. Definition. The sum in child class. Okay, just to differentiate between when I'm printing. So x plus y. I'll also what I'll do is I'll do this. I'll divide it by z. Okay, this is perfectly fine. I simply change the definition. I, instead of just adding, okay, I added the x and y and divided by the double of x, whatever is 2 times of x. Okay, don't worry about the name doesn't actually match whatever we are doing here. We are just demonstrating overriding, so it can be anything. So add is just okay. Now we have overloaded. Now this add is called an override ridden function of parent. We are overriding, not overloading. So this is a function in the parent method, parent class, and in the child class, I have taken the same method, changes definition. Hence, it is said to have overridden the parent function. Now, how do you define? How do you differentiate this? Okay. Now I will call this somewhere, right? Where can I call this? Yes, where can I call this? Let's create another class, or let's put the same class, doesn't matter, right? So let's create another class. Okay, let's call it inherit test. Inheritance, that's what we are talking about. Overriding belongs to inheritance. Okay, I will write the public static void main inside manually so that you can. So if I want to execute anything, I have to have public static void main function. Just like in C, you have main, right? And this main function takes string array of type arguments. Okay, now whatever I put in here, and I will be able to execute this one. Right click and execute. I cannot execute these. Why? Because there are no main function. Okay, so it doesn't even show the option. So that's why it doesn't show the option, because it doesn't have main function. So whenever you want to execute test case, you must have this. Just remember this public static. Okay, now I will do what? I will have to demonstrate this. So I will have to use the functions that are inside this and that, right? Now I'll have to inherit, I'll have to call this and this. So what I have to do? I have to instantiate, correct? Overloading example. Let's say, sorry, not overriding. Overriding parent. Okay, so there are two, right? Overriding parent, overriding. Don't worry about the override annotation. It is gonna show based on my partial typing. Overriding parent. Let's call p equals new. What I'm doing here? What is this called? Yes. What did I do just now? I instantiated the parent class, right? This one. Why do I have to instantiate the parent class? Because otherwise I cannot call the functions inside it, right? Or the variables. Overriding. Okay, what should I call now? Overriding child. Let's call C. So this is instantiating child class. Okay. Now p dot, what are the available methods and variables here? Whatever are inside p, I can call. So if I want to call p dot x, right, and change its value, I can do it. See, so what happens? Overriding parent has when I call setup, initially it is 0. Remember when I told you default value for integer is 0, and when after I call setup it will be 10. Then if I execute this one, overriding inherit test, it will again change to 12. Okay, so let's call before and demonstrate that later. So here p dot setup I'll call. So when I call setup, what happens? It will assign 10 and 20 values, right? Okay. Okay, so just to demonstrate this, I'll print this to this. So that is the only way we can make. Otherwise we have to debug. So x equals x. Okay, this will be printed. All right. So inherit test set up as this, and I will be able to change it, right? Now what else I can do? P dot add, right? So I can pass x 13 y 20. Okay, now let's see what are the available functions in the child class. C dot p, c dot q. All right, c dot I can change accordingly, and I will also call c.add. Now I can pause 11, 23. Okay, so if I run it, what is the output? Let us see. Okay, so what is the output? X equals to 10. So setup has 10 that is displayed, and the sum is displayed as like this. Okay, instead of adding, it actually concatenated. Okay, why? So let's see p.add. So this actually is like concatenating. So in order to avoid this, we have to put brackets. Now let us rerun. Okay, now it's proper addition instead of concatenation, just like string. So 33, and the sum in child class is okay. So sum in child class is why it is coming as 1, because we manipulated it, right? So that is properly calling based on the this one calling. Okay, now I call I instantiate both in the child class and try to call this add in the child class. What happens? So this is the outside class. Outside class, it will behave exactly like normal separate functions, separate classes and separate functions. Now child class extends parent class. Now within the child class, I'll try to call this method and see. Okay, in order for that, what should I have here? To demonstrate, we have to have public static void main again. Okay. Okay, now tell me, how do I call add? Can I call add like this? No, right? So first of all, I have to make them static. Static has to be the starting. Oh, it is not taking static. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll simply instantiate both. Okay. How do I instantiate? Or writing parent. Okay. So what is a common function that is defined in both parent and child classes? C dot add. Okay, so this one, let's pass 1, 2. Okay. Okay, let's try to execute now and see overriding child. Okay, I'm executing overriding child. Okay, what is the addition? Normally, if it is addition, it's normally 1 plus 2, 3. But here it is 1. So what happened? What function did it call? It called the child function, not the parent one, right? So instead of calling parent function, child function is taking precedence over here. It overridden the parent function. So that's why you see the different one. So x plus y 3 divided by what 2 times 1 2 3 divided by 2 is 1 in integer. So hence you see 1. Okay, I think this is little complicated. So instead of this complexity, I'll simply, it doesn't make sense, right? 1 1 1. So sum in child class, okay, that is already there. So let's just put this x plus y. Okay, so this is enough to identify what function it is calling. So let's try now. So okay, so sum in child class is 3. Okay, so just because you see child class, you can easily identify this calling child class. Okay, so that's all. It's example for overriding. So that's all you have to remember. So when you overriding, child class method takes precedence over parent class method. So we will see some examples during the automation itself regarding this. One another example I want to tell you is what else is left? Try catch. Okay, exception handling, right? Okay, exception handling is important in automation because sometimes you encounter exceptions. A developer must have encountered thrown exceptions. In automation also, you have to catch those exceptions and throw them or don't throw them. So if you encounter, like if I do a abnormal operation, the Java is gonna throw some exceptions. So I should be able to catch them and proceed further without interrupting my automation test case, or abruptly end it there by throwing it. So there are two options. So how do we achieve this? Using the try catch and try catch. If you want to do some operation at any cost, even though the exception is thrown, you can put that line in the final leave block. So final leave block will always be executed. All right, so let's try to do this example in class called exception handling example, just for the simple example. So we will see a lot of this in information. Okay, so simple example is, if you suspect that any operation is gonna throw any exception, always try to put that inside the try block. So try block, okay, so you put that inside and then we will catch this, catch exception e, okay, and exception is a class. I'm just printing this exception here, e dot print stack trace, I can say. Or if I want to print it to console, I can also use sysout e dot get message. I can see. So whenever I type e dot, you will see all the available methods here. So you can use one of this. I can e dot toString is the more appropriate because I want a string for string which is displayed onto the console, which is readable. So I can use this. Okay. Now let's do this operation without with try catch, because otherwise you cannot even see, it will directly throw the exception. And okay, we'll do both anyway. So what I'll do is I will simply add two numbers, divide numbers, public void the simplest example, but we will see mostly automation exceptions. Okay, what I'm doing is inside I'm trying to define, right? That is wrong. You should easily tell me. I mean, you are not paying attention, you cannot tell. Whenever you are making a mistake, you should easily identify immediately. Okay, you cannot define a function within another function, right? So I'm defining outside this, within the class, but outside this. Okay, so let's divide two numbers, integer x comma integer y, and simply I will sys out. All right. Let's say the quotient, right? What is a quotient? When you divide x with y, x divided by y. What is y is the error? Anybody? What is the error about?
Concatenation.
Concatenation. What is the concatenation? What is the missing one there?
The plus after the quote.
Plus sign. Yeah, that's correct. So that's you have to tell. Okay. So before me asking that, you should be able to tell that directly, immediately. Okay. So otherwise, if I ask, you are telling it takes long time, at least 1 minute. Okay, that's why I'm testing you. I mean, you have to pay attention so that you have to immediately respond. Otherwise, I can type and go on. Okay. Now, if you get any doubts, ask me immediately. These are the immediate questions. The later on questions are different. If you don't,
Why do you
yeah,
have a plus?
good question. Why plus sign? Okay. Can anybody tell her the answer? Why is this plus sign? That's what she's asking. Anyone jump in
So
and
output result is coming. That's why I use the plus, and then this one is the parameter. Assign the parameter and result is coming.
no. That's not correct. Okay, if I
It's,
don't put
it's
plus
because
sign,
we
what will
are
be?
concatenating our value with the string. The quotient is the string, and we are concatenating our result value with the string. Plus is
Correct.
a concatenation.
These two are two different values, right? This is a string. Okay. Now I don't have to take a separate chapter for concatenation. That's why it's all implicit inside. While on the go, I'll tell most topics. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time. So this is a string, and now remember, pay attention. This is a string, and this is a number. Why number? Because the division of two integers is an integer, which is a number. Now, in order to combine these two different data types, I must use a concatenation operator plus. Now you understand? Without plus, it won't work because I am trying to club two different data of different data types. So just to explain, I'm putting a comment here. Okay, so this comment is just for understanding only. Plus means concatenation of two different or same data types, doesn't matter. If simply want to combine for the purpose of printing onto the console, you must use concatenation. Okay, if x plus y, that is not concatenation, that is actual addition. Okay, so do not get confused with the plus in the arithmetic or math and the plus inside the between two strings or string and different numbers. Okay, so it's if any time there is a string involved, always concatenate. You cannot concatenate without using concatenation operator. You cannot combine a string and other number. That's all you have to. So two different or same data types, two different. It's very difficult to put that in words. You have to understand that, but I'm trying. Means concatenation of two different data, or whenever there is string involved. Okay, so I think you got the point, so let's not
Yeah.
okay, so all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you a simple example for exception handling, which is an important concept in automation. So hence we have to cover. We'll cover in the automation itself, but just introduction. At least I should give you introduction before. Okay, so now I will try to try. So what I'll do is I'll simply call this. How do you call divide here? Directly divide. For that I have to have this static, because static function can only be called within static, right? This, okay, implicitly I'm talking, right? You should be able to understand it. Otherwise, you should be able to question that on the right away. Then only I'll be able to explain. Otherwise, you will miss the point right away. Okay, now I'll call divide. Yeah, pass two numbers. Tell me any two numbers. 4, 2, and you know what is the result? What is the result? Hello, what is the result?
2.
2. Correct. Why so late? 2. The quotient is 2. Whatever it displayed here. Okay. Now it did not throw any exception. Why? Because there is no problem. 4 can be divided by 2, right? Now comes a problem. Okay. Now tell me what is the answer?
Undefined.
Undefined. So what should be the output? How does it read the output? Before executing, I'm asking you. What output will you think be displayed here? Tell me some answer which can be correct or wrong. I don't mind. So just tell me the answer. Quick. Okay, will it display the quotient equals to at least this part?
Yes.
Yes. And what is the, okay, you said undefined, correct. But what will display here? Will it display undefined or will it display something else? Just wild guesses. If you don't know, just guess. Educated.
Error is
Undefined.
coming.
Error,
Undefined.
exception, undefined. Okay, let's see. Okay. So that's the reason why I put in try block. So what it is going to do is it will try to divide 4 by 0, and that is a illegal operation, wrong operation. You cannot divide a number with 0. So it will enter catch block and it will simply print the exception matter here, which is like exception, invalid arithmetic operation exception or something. We will see. So that is purely Java related. These are the built-in exceptions. So based on the operation, it will throw. If you talking about the array, it will throw, and if you pass array of beyond size value, then it will throw array index out of bounds exception, something like this. So don't worry about that. So we will simply execute this and see what's the result is, because we are executing it for the first time. Okay. Now you see, it didn't even display this one, the quotient. It simply went into catch block. Now whatever is the exception, it displayed. What is the exception? Exception is arithmetic exception divided by 0. In reality also, you cannot divide a number by 0, which is called infinite or undefined, which is by definition it is not defined. That's what it means. So the Java also throws the same. Basically it says, hey, do not enter 0 as a dividend. So hence you see the exception. So what happened? Let's see step by step. When I execute, it will come to main, right? Go to divide, and here it will system out, it will directly go here. It will try to first come from the right side, not from the left side. So you may be asking question, why the quotient equals not printed at least, because it's not yet reached, right? No, it will come from here, it will go within the brackets first. That's how the Java works. Execution time, we don't see it inside under the hoods, it works like that. It will try to do x by y first. Okay, it won't even go to sys out, it will jump to what is inside the brackets, inside from the right side, that too. Okay, x divided by, now I passed x as 4, y as 0. Now literally it will take 4 comma 0, and it knows it's built-in operation, division. It will try to divide 4 with 0, and 0 is found as a divider, right? Now immediately the whoever wrote the Java, I mean long back, they already wrote it. So when you find 0 as a divider, do not go any further, just throw this exception, java.lang.atomic. This is the package Java. Inside there is a lang package, language package, and inside there is a class called arithmetic exception, which immediately throws this, and which is a y divided by 0. Exception handling example divide here. This is where I got the exception. That's what so if it is a if there are big chunk of lines in the this console, I should be able to go to that exception line immediately by clicking here. Okay, so here I got the exception, and inside this is the stack trace, so exactly pinpointing it here. So this is showing, hey dude, this is wrong. Okay, so now either you can correct here or here. So now I immediately see 0s here. Now you may be asking question, why this is relevant in automation? Yes, sometimes I put the in test data in Excel spreadsheet 0 as something like total value something divided by something. There is some calculation, I pass 0, and I don't know, I might be passing that without knowledge. But the advantage of putting that piece of code within the try catch block is it will throw an exception at least. Okay, now I can easily figure out execution time or debugging time, easily figure out what my mistake is. Then I'll be able to correct it. Hey, this is wrong. Now I have to put 2 or whatever, 1. Okay, because we have already seen 2, I put it. Okay, so 1. So then I'll put this one in the data pool and then rerun it. It will be resolved, and I'll do an additional programming by not to accept 0 or something. That is all different story. So the main advantage you already saw, right? What is the advantage of using try catch block? Anybody? Now I rerun it. No problem. The quotient is 4. What happened here? Division went through and there is no problem occurred in the try block. Hence, it did not even enter the cache block. So it went out. I mean, it will proceed further. It will go here. Whatever lines are there, it will execute. So, okay. Now we will see this again one by one, step by step. Okay. So for that, I will have to debug it. Okay. So debugging, for that, I have to put a breakpoint. So this is a breakpoint. Breakpoint means until that point it will run, and after that it will stop me, and I'll be able to go step by step. I'll step into or step inside or step over, whatever. Okay, so why did I put it here? Because it will start the execution from main only, not from here, even though it is there. So it will go here and it will stop me right there. So let's do debugging again. Okay, so you see different structure, right? This is a debugging window. So you are in the debugging perspective. Earlier we were in Java perspective. So this is your debug structure, what you're debugging, and these are your variables, watch variables and breakpoints. So this is your code, this is outline, what are the methods and functions available, and this is a console. Little bit different, similar, but you only see extra watch variables here. Okay, so there are two options, step into, step over. Whenever you want to go inside a function, step into, okay, do a step into F5 or press F5. If you want to go over, like you don't want to go inside and debug, you can just go further, just step over. So what do you want to do? You want to go inside the divide or just go over it? Inside, because that's where my definition is, right? So let's go inside. Okay, now see here what I pass x and y values. X is 4, y is 1. Okay, that's what I'm passing here. Where I'm passing? Here. Okay, it went into here, divide, and it jumped to its definition. Here it is, x and y values. I can see clearly here. And then I can step over. I don't want to step into the function println, right? So step over means you just execute it without going inside its definition. Println is defined inside, but we don't want to see that. Step over. Okay, so you can also hover over it. X and y values you can see here clearly. Okay, whenever you hover over a variable, it will show the value of it. Okay, now you step over. Okay, then immediately the result is displayed here. Okay, now you can resume. I don't want to debug further, I can resume less lines. Okay, done. Okay, now we will jump to Java perspective. Now I will show you example of debugging with try catch exception throwing, how it works. Let's see, real time runtime. Okay, so same debug point. Okay, now what do you want to do? Step into, step over, step into, right? Okay, now x value is 4, y value is 0, right? Now why we are debugging here? Because in order to investigate what the mistake is, what the error is, we have to debug exactly at what point, so that you can easily rectify it. Now step over. Okay, see, now this is what I wanted to show you. Immediately when I executed this line, x by y, it didn't even go further. It came out of try black. See, it highlighted, whatever is highlighted is going to be executed now. It is entering the cache block. Okay, now let's see further. That means division, whatever you tried to do the operation here, it did not go through. Instead, it threw an exception and it went into cache block. And now, okay, exception. This is the arithmetic exception. Exception is a instance of exception, and it shows all the details here. Arithmetic exception. What is the detail message is? Cause is arithmetic exception. Detail message is by divide by 0. That's exactly what we are trying to do. That's exactly what is throwing. And this is a stack trace and blah blah blah. So all we need to do is just detail what is the exception and what is its message. That's all we need to know, and that's it. We know here, and next time I won't pass it. And sys out, since I'm printing it, it will print this whole thing to console. That's how I would know. Without debugging, I can know easily with sys out only. And that's it. So now we have seen step-by-step process of how it works. So it went into try block, it tried to do this, and which didn't work, and it immediately entered the cache block only if there is 0. If it were different number, it didn't even enter cache, because try block went through successfully, it was executed successfully, it directly came out of here. Okay, that's how it works. Now let's try to define it. Okay, how do you define it? First, in order to define this, you have to know few terms. We have talked about errors. I said errors, right? I kept on saying. What is an error? There are two types of errors. One is compile time error.
Runtime error.
Compiled, yeah, correct. Second is runtime error. Okay, what is a compile time error? Compile time error is any mistake that is done here. Okay, Now if I don't put bracket, there is a compilation error. Okay, it will show immediately here, red marks. You can easily rectify it. Okay, so if I try to run it, it won't even run because it's not going to create a class file, right? It says errors exist in required project. Okay, so proceed. It won't proceed. See exception in the thread main itself, unresolved compilation problems. Okay, it says syntax error in the token try. So it immediately pinpointed what's their syntax is. No exception or try void blah blah blah. Exception ending examples. 15th line. So it exactly, you can click, it goes. Now okay, I'll see what is a mistake. I'll try to. I'll find that this is missing. Now that is a compilation error. Okay, what is a compilation error? Now this is a important question. What is a compilation error? Yes.
Program we write something is mistake, and then that time is
Syntactical error.
compilation error.
Syntactical mistake. Any syntactical mistake.
Yeah.
With you can say which causes error during compilation time. It won't even run. So remember I told you, when I run it, Eclipse automatically tries to take care of compilation also. First compiles it, it try to create a class file, then it will run that. So we don't see it, it will happen in the background. So when I put a mistake like this, it will throw compilation error, which immediately results in like this. It won't even create a class file. If you haven't, if you created Java file for the first time, you won't see the class file in the backend and in the folder, in the this folder somewhere. Where do you see all those files? Yes. Where can you see all these files? Here, Java tutorial source library, right here. Somewhere here. Java tutorial. Where is Java tutorial? Okay. Somewhere in the C drive, it's not in C drive, somewhere in drive. You can easily tell. I am trying to find here. There should be like take me to the Explorer. I don't see it here. In IntelliJ there is. In IntelliJ is a different kind of IDE. I don't see it here. Anyway, in your local computer, if you have created this Java tutorial in C drive, you can go inside this and see in the test folder. It will be folder, and in test folder you can see source folder will have all these Java files. Outside that source you will see a bin folder, okay, binary folder, and you will see exactly the same structure in that one, library and test. And if you go to test, you will see a file called exception handling example .class. Okay, you know what I mean. So for the first time when you try to compile it, it won't create class file. Afterwards, if you try to do a run successfully, it must have already created a class file. So when you open class file, you can't read it. It will be in chunk of like characters, special characters. So that is purely understood by the JVM. So anyway, coming back to this, compile time error are those, and what are the runtime errors?
All program is completed, we run, that time is in result time error is coming, that time is final time.
Runtime errors means there are type of errors which are caused by exception handling. Okay, any errors, any error, these are proper errors which are causing exceptions. Okay, that's why we are trying to handle them. That's what is called error handling, error exception handling. So whatever runtime errors, you can't see them here. If I do not put try catch block here, it would cause the error. Definitely it will cause the error, but by putting try catch, you are telling the program explicitly what to do, what not to do. Okay, so this is a gonna cause a runtime error, which is an exception, like this. Like this. This is a runtime one. So that's exception, and runtime errors are gonna be dealt with by using exception handling, using the try catch and finally. Okay, what is finally? We didn't use finally. Now let's use finally. Like I told you, finally block will always be executed no matter what, no matter exception is thrown or not thrown. So just for the example's sake, I'll put finally block is executed. Now if I run this, it will throw exception, but it will definitely come to try catch, then finally block will be definitely executed. So in reality, if you want to operate, if you want to display or do some operation at any cost, even though exception is thrown, try to put that line inside the final block. That's the main purpose of it. Now let's execute. You will see final block is executed. Even though exception is thrown, it is executed. Now you understand, right? Now there are different structures. We don't need to know all the details, but I'll just state quickly so that I mean, even interview purpose also nobody else. This is a purely development related. So in the hierarchical structure, we have this hierarchy classes, the classes of Java hierarchy. Lang, we have seen java.lang. This one, right? Java.lang. No, not during debug time I have shown you. That's okay. So it has throwable, and throwable has errors and exceptions. So instead of this, okay, so this is the hierarchy. I can't show here. Okay, so what are errors? We have just now specified. Errors are always compilation time. Okay, so in other words, compilation time errors and runtime errors we have declared, but that's, let's call it compilation time. Whatever occurs, that is called error. Runtime, whatever occurs, that is always called exception. Okay, this will actually be clear. Instead you say there are two types of errors compilation. Let's call it compilation time. Whatever occurs, those are called errors. If I don't put semicolon, that's an error. Okay, runtime, whatever happens by passing a wrong argument or something, that's going to cause like this, which is called exception. So always be clear on this. Compilation time errors occur and runtime exceptions occur, so that we are clear, just for the terminology's sake. Compilation. Okay, exception occurs, runtime. Okay, so errors are, there are no subdivision in errors. Errors are errors. That is purely based on your mistakes here. Okay, these are all errors. There is no categories in errors because they are purely compilation type. Now exception, there are types of exception. What are those? Programmatically we have seen just now. What are the kinds of exception? So what is the example thrown? Exception thrown by example such as this is arithmetic exception, right, which is purely based on the calculations, mathematics, like divide by 0, like this. And there will be IO exception. IO exception means input output exception. For example, you are trying to read a file and file is not there, so file not found exception, something like this. File not found exception, EXCP in short for exception. And if you're dealing with arrays, arrays will throw array index out of bounds exception. Don't worry, it will not be exactly displayed like this. Each word will have capital letter and everything. So this is just for your quick knowledge. And there are many more which we will see on the go. So number format exception, blah blah blah. Arithmetic exception will also have number format. For example, if I am accepting integer here, and if I pass 4.1, let's say, that's going to throw number format exception. So we will all see based on when it throws. You don't have to go deeply theoretically here. Number format exception like this. String index out of bounds exception, security exception, file not found exception. Okay, so these are many exceptions based on the operation which is not handled properly will cause this. And even if you think it will happen, if you suspect it will happen, because anything can happen from data pool or somewhere, it is always try to put that piece of code in the try block. That's how we handle them. That's why we call it exception handling. We don't call it exceptions. What do we do with those? That's what the main talk about. So we handle by using try catch and finally. So that is important thing. So remember this. The exception handling is done by using try catch or try catch finally. Always put the piece of code inside try catch if you suspect the operation is gonna cause exceptions. Okay, now we will not I will explain this later because we are spending too much time here. So if you think it's gonna you gonna abruptly end this, you can throw this too. Okay, so by throwing, you're asking it, I mean, it will definitely enter final black and whatever is there, it will definitely execute, but throwing will definitely abruptly end it. Your test case will be ended there. So if you want that, you can throw that exception, otherwise you don't have to throw the exception either ways. Okay, we'll see this during automation time itself. Okay, so that's all for Java. Okay, remaining we will see implicitly. Okay, so I'm directly jumping to Selenium. All right, now we will see how do we install Selenium, how do we configure it, and proceed further. It's same Eclipse tool will be used for the IDE purposes. Okay, so use this as your download. So I'll jump to Selenium nodes. Okay, so same thing, you download Eclipse as you did already, and for the Selenium, download latest version of Selenium. Okay, so this may not be the right URL. Okay, so here I'll specify this URL. Okay, so go here, download it here. All right. So download for Chrome, for Firefox. So let's download it for Chrome. Download it for Java. Okay, so Chrome is a Chrome driver, so there are two different things. That's why I have put it here separately. Eclipse you have already downloaded. Let me change the Eclipse also. These URLs change often, so here we go. Oh, this is for the JRE. JRE is okay. I don't want to mention the specific URL here. All right, so IDE download Eclipse you already downloaded, but you can download anything, either Mars or any other, but just keep in mind that you have to download for Java, not for the Java Beans or Triple E or whatever other ones Java. Okay, once you download Eclipse, now we are talking about Selenium. So Selenium, let's put it before, then browsers. Okay, browsers you must have already downloaded it, right? So let's not use whole bunch of browsers. Current browser version is, what is the current browser version? How do you find it? Using the about. Okay, so download this version 16 point this one, because it's compatible with the latest Chrome driver. So okay, then download Chrome browser version, then we are gonna come to Chrome driver, that is a different. Okay, so this is old. I'm gonna replace this with yeah, first you download Selenium here, Java. Okay, so this is a 3.14.0. Okay, so 3.14, this is the older version right now. It's 14.0. all right, and that is for Java. It's not browser based, so don't. Okay, it's going to take some time. 8.4 MB, that is done. Okay, so these are for different languages. These are multiple languages can be used for coding in Selenium WebDriver. So one of popular is Java, other one is C#, Ruby, Python, JavaScript. Okay, so since we are not gonna use C#, Ruby, Python, we are not gonna download them. All of them has same version number. Java is a primary language which is mostly used, so we are gonna use the Selenium for Java. So download this one. Okay, I don't know if you are doing it parallelly. Are you doing it parallelly? That's good, because if you do it later you might get some doubts. So is everyone doing parallelly as I'm doing on their machine? Hello.
Yes, yes, I'm doing.
Okay, how about others? Or everybody? Because it's a practical aspect. If you just listen to it like a story or movie, it's not gonna work.
Oh,
Java is fine, but we have to do it parallelly, practical. Okay, others. Okay, 2 people only responded so far. What about others? Are you doing it? I mean, I suggest you do it. As I download it, you download it. Is everyone with me? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Did everybody download this? Because here it's easy. You directly go to the web page and download it. Because when you do it on Monday or tomorrow, okay, you might download this and which might not work with Java. So C#, Java, Ruby, Python are different. Okay, I guess you're following. Nobody is responding. So for only 3 people, I guess, responded. Okay, so what we have done so far, we already downloaded the browser. Just check your version. If not, you have to update it. Okay, just take the update. So you know how to take the update? Yes. Where it is set. Help. Okay, always go to help. How about Google Chrome? And yeah, it should show like this is up to date. Otherwise, there should be some button which like update or something. Follow it and just make sure your version is same thing 6.9. Okay. Now we have downloaded the Chrome browser and already Eclipse is downloaded. Before that Java is downloaded. Okay, you know how to do this, right? Java download. Just type Java download inside the browser and go here. Just download this free Java 8 update 181. Okay, that's the latest one you have to take. Yes. So download it, then all the downloads I'm specifying here. Download Eclipse IDE. Doesn't matter whether it's for Mars or something. So just for Java, you go here and download. Then comes browser. Okay, so I am specifying one by one. That's so that it will be easier. I mean, even some students are not doing it parallelly. You can follow later because I am not sure. Okay, so Java is done, Eclipse is done, Chrome browser is done. Then comes to Selenium WebDriver. Download Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver. Okay, Java is over, Eclipse is over, Chrome browser is over. Okay, don't worry about the Firefox. We will see that later because one browser initially is sufficient, and second browser is Chrome. That I mean Firefox. That's another addition to it. So just by changing driver, you can run the same script. So programming doesn't change based on the browser. Okay, Chrome driver. Okay, these are the addition steps you have to take. Make sure. Okay. So that only I will be able to tell you only if you face any problems. So maybe you can tell me tomorrow if you're not doing right away. You can tell me. Chrome driver here. So Google Chrome driver, we have downloaded this here, right? This is the download for WebDriver for Java. All right. Now Chrome driver, we need it. Why we need it? I already told you. WebDriver is an interface which is just a interface without definitions, just declarations only, package, variables and methods. Chrome, Google takes it and implements it, means defines it according to its browser settings. So now how does it work in Chrome? Okay, that specific instructions like clicking on the link, selecting radio button, or a whole lot of operations are clearly defined in the Chrome driver. So hence you need to download it. Okay, now let's go to latest download. So this is going to take to this site. All right. Now we look for the latest version. Chrome driver latest. You can download it from here. Okay, this is clear or no? Okay, 2.42 is the latest version that is compatible with the current Chrome binaries. So these are the latest changes in this fixes and changes. So these are older versions 2.41, 2.40. Don't go for them because they are going to be the older WebDriver version. So let's download this. Okay, so you're going to come to this and you download Win32 zip. Okay, so if your operating system is Linux, you download this. If your operating system is Mac, download this. If it is Windows, download this. Don't worry about 32 or 64 bit. For both this is gonna work. So just go for Windows only. Win. So I'm gonna specify that here. Chrome driver. Version. Okay, download this one. This for at this location. Okay, so the version is 2.42. Now I will download this actually. Chrome driver 0.42. Okay. Okay, so we have downloaded this. Okay, I am putting this another folder. We will create another folder here. For example, drivers, let's say, and we'll put all of them in C drive. So I can directly put in C drive, or you can put wherever you want to. Doesn't matter. Okay, so there is already drivers folder. Okay, so these are the older ones. Okay, so I'll go and delete them. These are almost like last year when I took class. That's so Gecko driver is the Firefox, Chrome driver is Chrome, and Internet Explorer driver is Internet Explorer is deprecated now, so they remove it. They call it Edge. Okay, so now I'm gonna put here, but I have to extract this. Okay, now extract files here. Okay, and I have to download Chrome as well. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this. Let's put downloads. Okay, so these are two files which are this is basically Chrome driver, WebDriver, Selenium WebDriver client combined. Earlier it used to come with all the bunch of files. Everything is combined right now into one single jar. This is the executable jar, which we can this thing put it in the our path in the Eclipse. We can configure it. I'll show you that later. Okay, so this has a source code. Okay, we don't need this, we can delete it, but I don't mind keeping it because it's just 500 KB or something. And this is the Chrome driver which we have configured in our automation code. Okay, that I'll show you. These we don't need to worry, license and change logs, leave it, you can delete it. And these are the whole lot of third-party library jars. Okay, not whole lot of, earlier it was whole lot of, but they shrink the list. Okay, so we are going to add others like database testing. We are going to add db2jcc.jar, blah blah blah. For XML, SOAP UI or web services, we will add another jars later on. Moving on the go whenever we need it. Okay, don't download whole bunch of jars right now. So these are the common logging jars and Java jars and HTTP client to work with the HTTP browser and so on. So just put them in drivers folder. You can put them in D drive, C drive, or anywhere. Doesn't matter. Now let's go to, yeah, these are like a little bit of notes. Okay, so now what we have downloaded so far? Anybody? What you have downloaded so far?
Selenium,
Yeah.
Chrome WebDriver.
Okay, first starting with Java. Did you download Java?
Yeah, we downloaded before we installed ID Eclipse.
Okay, so you already downloaded, then no problem. If you haven't done so yet, then do it because that is the first thing you need, right? Java. Without Java, we can't even proceed. Because if you already download Java, that's how you have worked on Eclipse Java programming, right? That means it is
Yeah,
working. Okay, now Eclipse, you must have already done that because without which you cannot even practice Java. So I believe you've done these two things. Everybody else did this. And you already have Chrome browser maybe, but just make sure the version is this. Can you make sure and tell me right now? This is important. I'm not going to go over this again. This is just one time only installation.
yeah, my
Make sure
browser version was this.
everyone. Okay, everyone. Does your browser version matches with this? Tell me. At least one more person. I'll know that you have done this. Yes or no? Quick. Check your browser version and tell me. This is important. Okay, I take it as yes. So then Selenium. Everybody downloaded Selenium 3.14 version and put it in the drivers folder. All this 1, 2, 3. I mean, you get a zip file. You have to unzip it. Are you doing it, or have you done it, or are you going to do later? Which of these answers, or none of the above?
I actually will do it later because I have to use
Okay,
the
no
laptop.
problem. No
Okay.
problem. Okay. So anybody else? Anybody is planning to do it later or doing it now? Tell me.
Doing it later.
Doing it later? Okay, no problem.
I have it
But just
already installed.
okay, good. Okay, that's recommended, but nobody is doing that. That's fine. So that's why I'm documenting all the steps, even for later purpose. You can refer to this. I'm going to share this with you. Okay, then Chrome driver 2.42 version. Okay, it's a little bit complicated. You go to this site and click on the 2.42 link and download this one and put this, unzip it and put this in the drivers folder. That is the file you want. All right. So this is updated on September 13th by Google. So always check the latest. It's going to be frequently updated. You keep looking for it. Otherwise, it's going to work with the compatibility problems will arise. Okay. If any thing like this is thrown, you have to make sure this is there. Okay. So that's why I put as a notes. If you can tell me tomorrow if you are going to face problem. So definitely do it after the class today, and so that you will see tomorrow. Okay. Now a little bit of theory. Selenium. What is Selenium? Initially, there are versions. Okay, 1.x version was known as RC, remote control. Okay, which we are not using right now. Okay, so just for the sake of knowledge, I am telling you. So this is purely record and playback. You actually record. There is no programming at all. I mean, there was a little bit programming, but you basically record what you want. If you want to click, you click this and it will record it like this. So that was during 2005 or 2006. So don't worry about this. This is currently not being used. Then came the WebDriver. Initially, it was not called the WebDriver. It was called Selenium RC, remote control. There was a plugin in the Firefox browser, which we need to run on Firefox and record it. And it will create the Java source code and modify it. It was a whole lot of mess. I mean, you don't start with the coding. That means you are not in control. So this is not even used right now. So forget about it. Then came Selenium WebDriver, which is called Selenium 2.0 version initially. Okay. Now this is for the programming Java developers. So basically, initially the Java developers themselves took off, and they used to automate them apart from unit test cases that I told you, right? Unit cases. They also used to automate them for the regression cases. But later on, the testing team also jumped to this, and they started learning Selenium WebDriver, and they took over it basically. So they took the opportunity and they started automating their own test cases. So basically, developers didn't have to do this; they just stick to their own unit test cases. And now the latest version is Selenium 3.x. X means variable. Okay, currently 3.14 is coming. That is compatible with Java 1.8. So Selenium 2.x only works till Java 1.7 only, right? Now Java 1.8, the latest version, if you try to use the Selenium 2.x, it won't work. So I don't even recommend go for it because it has older features. So all the latest features are in the Selenium 3.x. So 3.14 with Java latest version. Okay. Now this is the used one. Currently, are you able to see the font, or should I increase? Nobody is speaking. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay, so you should tell me. Nobody is speaking. I mean, earlier Java file I increased the font, but this one. Okay. Okay, all the downloads. Now if you can see it clearly. Okay, follow these, and Selenium introduction. And for Selenium, primarily we need XPath, right? What is XPath? X means XML path, because everything in the DOM is in the structure, hierarchical structure, which is like XML. If anybody has seen an XML file, they will easily be able to understand it. Okay, so for every object in the browser application is uniquely identified with XPath. Okay, that's why it is very important to find the XPath and use it in our automation. This acts as an input for each object, like object recognition locator. So what is a XPath? To uniquely identify the objects in browser. What objects? Applications objects. Application AUT. What is AUT? Application under test. That the application we are going to work on in the project is known as AUT in short abbreviation. So the XPath's primary objective is to uniquely identify the applications objects in the browser, in the given browser. Okay, any browser. Okay, now how do we find the XPaths? Okay, so in Chrome, you just press F12 and it will open up DOM. DOM means document object model. In Firefox, we can use Firebug or Firepath. I'll show you both. And there has to be exactly one match. If there are multiple matches, then we cannot use it. Okay, so we have to pinpoint, or we have to modify our XPath in such a way that there is only one single match for an object, right? So otherwise it will get ambiguous. If a XPath is pointing to two different objects, it doesn't know which object it has to operate on, like clicking. So that's the reason why you have to clearly specify the XPath accurately. Okay, now these are the syntaxes. We'll come to this later once I'll show the way to find XPath. Okay. Okay, now we will use the same like this website. Let's say for the I'm going to take different website as example for showing automation code. Like there are like Mercury Tours Demo 80, a web example only. Don't worry, I don't take the QTP one, the client version of it. So since mostly WebDriver only works with web applications only, that's you have to remember. Hence we have to take web examples only. Okay, for the time being, for the DOM purpose, I will use the same website for the example. So this is a Chrome. So what you have to do is you press F12 or go to more tools. Okay, and click on developer tools, or you can press Ctrl Shift I. Okay. Okay, now it pops up. This is called document object model. Okay, it's going to show all the properties that are mentioned by the developer in the application while coding. For basically he has to, or they have to identify their objects as well, right? So they have to provide the properties and their values. So those values and property names and values are gonna be displayed. You can clearly see in the element section of DOM. Okay, so now let's say, okay, now I have to click on this download link. All right. Now what I'll do, I'll simply select the element. Okay, click on this arrow and point this. See, here it is highlighted. Now just click on once. Now this is my property name value. Don't worry about the XPath yet. XPath we have to write on our own, or we can generate one. So if anybody knows HTML, they will be easily be able to understand it. This is a table structure, which is a table. Table has a table header, table body, table row. Okay, that's a table row highlighted. You can see it here while I'm hovering over here. And table data is there. And table data has a, what is this called, hyperlink, a href. Okay, so href is way target location where it's going to take me if I click on this hyperlink. So that's all is given information for this object. Now we have to construct our own XPath. Okay, so just remember that if I want to operate on a particular element or object, I have to be able to pinpoint in the DOM and write its. Okay, for example, this is separate, right? So this is a different property. Href is equal to this one. That's my property. Okay, if I want to operate on Google Chrome driver, so now again you have to click on this. Click on this. Now my property name is href. Okay, or a href. We will see that later. Or text is Google Chrome driver. I can also go with multiple properties are given. So I can go with either or many properties. As long as my XPath is unique, it's no problem. So one property name is href and its value is https site star blah 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 till here. And another property is text property. Text is what you see on the actual web page. That is a C. That is the text always, unlike specified other way around. So I can go with text property and use Google Chrome driver. Okay, now sometimes there will be two places where the same text is displayed, so hence I cannot use that property because it has to be unique always, my XPath, right? So in that case I have to go for a combination of properties which makes my XPath unique. So that's that. Okay, so what is XPath? XPath is to uniquely identify the application's objects in browser. Okay, so you open DOM and what do you do? Operations in DOM. After opening DOM, you highlight object and okay, how do you highlight the object? Using arrow. Okay, so this is arrow. Okay, click on it and you highlight it like this and click on it. Then what do you do? Note the property and values. Okay, So there are how many properties given here? 2. One is href value, property 2 opera value, text, property name is text and value. So sometimes you don't see the property name, so by default you have to understand. So like this, it's a text, properties and values. Okay, that's all you're done. And then write the XPath. Okay, XPath one match is given, and XPath based out of down, write and validate is the 2 things. Write because you have to write one time, and validate because you want to check the validity. Sometimes XPath is wrong. Okay, so you have to check it is right, and then it exactly has one match. Okay, so all these things are important. Okay, so syntaxes for simple XPath. How do we write? Okay, so this is the syntax. Double slash represents relative path. Okay, relative means you don't have to come from all the way till here. This is the whole hierarchy, right? The starting, the parent is, topmost parent is HTML. Okay, because HTML is the topmost in any web page, right? Doc, HTML, web page. Then header, body. Body has divisions. Okay, don't worry about these divisions. It comes from this and comes all the way down to our this thing, opera. TR, table, TR, TD, and then our. So if I want to mention the path, I have to start from its parent, right? Grandparent, HTML, div, table, TR, TD. It's very lengthy, right? So relatively, I can use double slash and start right from here, directly from table or TD, right from here. That means that this one's double slash means take the whole path relatively. That means I don't care if you just take it relatively. Just look for this value afterward from the right side, not from the left side. Left side is all the way coming from the topmost parent, right? So the advantage of this is I don't have to write the lengthy XPath, and that is good. And disadvantage is sometimes it might not give a unique XPath. So that we have to remember, and we can rectify this by providing multiple properties. Okay, don't worry, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, one syntax is this: type. Type is, type of this object is A, okay, or its input or whatever it is. Based on the DOM, we have to write type. And contains I'm using because I can go for the partial match. I don't have to mention the whole thing. Like if I go just for the opera driver, that is a partial match, partial text. So contains will take care of it. So then at the rate property name is here href, and comma within single quotes property value. Okay, property value is this. Okay, so you have to remember this syntax in order to write your own XPaths, or even to tell in the interview, you have to remember at least XPath. This is the minimum. So I can write without looking at it. So just for your understanding, I wrote it, your reference as well. Okay, next one I told you, right? Sometimes the property name is implicit. It's not mentioned explicitly, like opera. This is a property value. Name of the property is text. So in which case I can use text. So remember one thing, if it is a text property, it's text parenthesis open parenthesis closed. You have to use it like this. If it is any other property other than text, always preceded by the @ symbol. Okay, that is one rule. Remember. And for text, it's a text bracket open bracket close, then quote property value, which is opera driver here. Opera. That's it. Okay, so this is a syntax for simple XPath, exact match, type, property name, property value. And like I told you, sometimes multiple properties are needed to be mentioned in the XPath, because the single, I told you, the Opera may be somewhere else too. In the same page, there may be somewhere Opera word mentioned. So hence I cannot take text. So in which case I have to go for the multiple multiple properties in the single XPath. So the syntax for the multiple properties will look like this: / parent element, whatever it is, and / you have to sometimes go with the parent also backward. So you have to start from parent, its parent, grandparent. Why? Because the uniqueness has to be there. Otherwise, without, if you directly start with this, it is probably showing 3 matches. So in order to pinpoint to the one match, you have to either go to its parent, parent, or mention the multiple properties. So we are, I am just mentioning here 2 things. It's parent and it's again child. This is a child. This is the same relationship, parent and child, and contains property name, property value, and contains property, another property name, property value. So basically I'm mentioning 2 properties. In this example, let's say here, so I am taking into picture href as well as the text, just to avoid the ambiguity. All right. So here the example will don't worry about the example. Okay, so this is how we are going to operate using the driver dot find element by id or text, or this is the not exact syntax. I put multiple options here: by dot id link text or partial XPath or XPath, which we are going to use mostly, or CSS selector. So I don't recommend going for CSS selector because it's not accurate fast enough. XPath is accurate. And then finally operation. So this is how we are going to write actual coding for operation, operating upon each element. So just remember that you have to find exactly one match for this. Okay, for example, A contains href Opera driver, right? So here I am trying to operate on Opera driver here. Okay, so here you see href partial. Instead of mentioning the whole href, I can go for Opera driver simply. Okay, href Opera driver. Okay, let's see this example here real time. So what you do is Control F here. So when you Control F, not outside, inside, if you Control F inside the DOM, you will see the XPath validator. Okay, now let's write XPath. Okay, /. What is the name, type of the element? A. Okay, that's a type. Okay, there are many A's. As and when you type the type of the element, it will go on, it's gonna start from the beginning, highlight. So again you do this because I'm gonna pinpoint to this A, because I have to be looking at this property value combination. Okay, so then A bracket open. Okay, then I can go for like this href equals. Okay, instead I would go for partial. So for partial text I can write contains. All right, now bracket open, @ property name is href, and what is the partial property value? Opera driver, right? Now bracket close and parenthesis close. Okay, now you see it is highlighted. Now you have to make sure only one is highlighted. Okay, only one and only one object is highlighted. Okay, so is it the one object or multiple objects? How do you know? There is displayed already. This is resulting, this is a XPath which is resulting in 1 and 1 match only. Where do you see? Here, 1 of 1. Okay, everybody with me?
Yes.
Everybody with me so far or not? Speak out, otherwise you're not going to understand.
We're still looking at object
Yes.
model of a page.
Now let's see a different example. Opera driver. Okay, okay. Now see, after changing it to Opera, there are 3 matches, 1 of 3. That means there is 1 here, okay, which is this. Just click on this. There are 2 here. the latest, it's the wording is different text, but inside its href is again containing Opera. See, when I hover over it, you can see actually. Okay, this also has Opera because it has Opera Chromium driver as word Opera. That is the second match. Third match is issue tracker. This also has inside href. Href is the target location, right? That is a property which is not visible here, which is visible in the DOM, which also has word Opera. So hence 3 matches. So is this the correct XPath? Yes or no? That is not correct XPath because, like I told you, it has to be resulting in exactly 1 match. Otherwise, you cannot operate on it, right? So basically, what it will think is it will get confused. Chrome driver to click on this or this or this. So it will throw an exception, like we have seen. It will throw ambiguous object property exception or something. Hence, we have to take care of it, right? So what should be the correct one? Opera driver. Okay, now it is exactly 1 match. Okay, now tell me your question again. Someone was speaking before. Now I will copy this XPath and put it in my code. Don't worry about the code right just yet. I'm going to come to that. So we are just talking about the XPaths. Okay. Now that's exactly what I copied. A contains href Opera driver, right? So that is the correct XPath. Okay. Now let's go to a different one. Okay. Okay, that's not. Okay, so let's click on this about. Okay, now I want to click on about in automation code. Now what I have to do? I have to find its XPath. Correct. Now how do I find its XPath? Click on this arrow. Click on this about. Now it will show this line. Now I want to write my own XPath. Okay. Now this is a syntax. What is this? This means relative path. This is the type of the object A. All right, here, and this is contain means I'm going for partial match at the rate property name and property value. Okay, simple XPath. I am not even going for complex XPath which mentions multiple properties, multiple types. Okay, that's complex. Okay. Okay, now tell me, yeah, is it correct? Type is A, correct. Contains is correct. Okay, now tell me href is correct. Should we go over to href or something else?
We
Let's
will change only for about operation type, only about.
Oh, so what is the property value here? Tell me.
About.
That's it. Okay, now problem is there are 6 abouts in the page. Now we have to get how many exactly? What is the purpose of XPath? How many objects it should point to?
One match.
One and only one, right? So now you are getting 6. Look at, can you see this?
Yeah.
1 of 6. Okay.
This one is wrong.
Okay, now there are six abouts. Okay, let's see. One about, see highlighted portion. Okay, look at the yellow highlighted. Okay, second about there is there events about blah 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 blah. Now we are interested in which about, this about. Okay, the first about is, see, highlighted. When I hover over this, it's highlighting this. If you look at it, that is the object I'm interested in. Now what should I do? I can change the property. Let's keep it simple. XPath. So instead of href, I'll go for property title. Right? Title is another property, right? There are 1 property, 2 properties. Okay. So at the rate, what is it? Title. Now what is the property name? Tell me. Property value. Property name is title. What is the property value?
Overview of Selenium about.
Overview of Selenium. I can pretty much copy from here. Oh, it's going. Okay, don't worry. So I can do this here. Okay. Overview of Selenium, right? I can directly double click on it. It will, I'll select the text, copy it and paste it inside. Okay. Now you see the matches, number of matches. How many
One.
now?
One.
One of one. So that's exactly what I want. Now I can copy this and use it in my Selenium code. I'll do that later. Okay. So this is another example. Okay. I have given examples, some of them. Okay. Let's add this example number 8. Okay. So this is for clicking, what it will do actually, example 8. Okay. I'm just writing here for operating. Operating means clicking, selecting, capturing text, whatever. That is all details later. Operating. I am operating on about object. Okay. There are many about objects, so I can say about object on the top title bar, just to be specific. Okay. So this is just for your practice.
Can I ask a question?
Go.
Do we have to read the XPath manually for every object?
Yes, one time, first time, yes. Otherwise, how do you capture it? That is our test automation engineer's responsibility to identify each.
I worked as a front-end developer before, and I have seen the option in the developer tool that if we right-click and go on the copy, they say that we can
Right.
copy. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, but this is not the programmatic XPath. I'll show you. The reason is this is only for developers. For automation engineers, they have to write it like this. I'll tell you why. Because this is more optimized. Okay, if I copy this XPath from here, okay, there is option. Right click on that. Copy XPath. Now let's compare both. It will look like this. Now the problem with this one is it has star mark. That means any type, okay, and at the rate id equals, it is not going for contains, it's going for exact match, and /a, okay, that is a child element. Now the problem with this one is you are not sure whether it's going to match exactly one time. Okay, that is not possible. Now let's see, it may or may not, but it is not specific. It's a generic XPath. So I do not recommend going for generic XPath. Write your own XPath. In product development, the developer has option to do this. Okay, so that is perfectly fine. As an automation engineer, I don't recommend because it's not 100% sure. No, 100% surety only comes if you are making sure, validating manually one time like this. It has to match single match exactly. Then you can use it. This is just one time only. One time you work on that object and put it in the page object model. Okay, that I'll show you later. Then we will use that. Okay, one time only. It's not every time you have to do this. No, one time I want to operate on this. I got this XPath and put it in my code. That's it. Or it's going to take time, but it's worth it because it's not going to result in exceptions related to XPath. It's showing multiple matches. All those things will happen if you do this. So copy XPath. Do not do this. I mean, unless you have to. I mean, I don't say don't do this at all. First, you do your homework like this. You work on this, and if it is a very complex XPath, you are not arriving at one possible one single match at all. I mean, it took 1 hour. Then there is no other option. Then go for it. I mean, only if this also matches exactly one time. Okay, but programmatically it's not a good way because it has star mark. Star mark means it's saying any type. It is not specific. The XPath must be specific. What property, what property value, what is its type and relative type. This is specific too because I don't want to be lengthy. That's why I'm going for relative. So that's it. So this is auto generated. Browser has generated. Okay, do go for this lastly, I mean, if you tried already and it's not working, then go for it. But if you try it, it will definitely work like this. Okay. So since we are talking about simple XPaths, it's simple. So let's go for the complex now. So what is the complex? Complex in the sense, I'm going to increase the property and values so that I'll get single match. That's all. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. So simple one more is, okay, this A is in which object? A belongs to which object? List object, li, it's parent, right before. Okay, so that's it, parent. I can mention li here. The matches do not change, I mean, it's still valid, but I don't have to. But if I have to, I have to do it because of I mean, if it is throwing 2 or 3 matches, then I have to do it to make sure only one match occurs. I can increase. Okay. Okay, that just for the example sake I'm taking. Now let me increase this one to title, and href is there, right? So let's do that. So I want to mention another property. Okay, this is the example for complex XPath. The earlier example was for simple XPath. Okay, tell me now another property for the same about only. We are talking about this only. Yes, at the rate. What is the other property that is displayed right here? href. What is the value?
About title over actually means.
About. Okay, now I'll tell you the mistakes you can see. You have to exactly open and close braces and quotes and everything. Okay, so if it is not correct, it will show 0 error, 0 matches. That means you're wrong, your XPath is wrong. So you have to see one highlighted portion, 1 of 1 exactly. That is the indication that your XPath is correct. Okay, now contents is a word you have to mention every time, correct? So and contains. Okay, now it is correct. See, this is a complete example for complex XPath. Now the reason why I have shown this is, if I have to write complex XPath, you should be able to know this. For this particular object, I don't have to. I mean, this single object property is sufficient, but example wise I have taken. Okay, so simply what we have done here, we have taken into account 2 properties. What are those?
About property?
Href property. About is a value. Href is a property. About is a value. Always property followed by value. Okay. Title is a property. When I ask for property, you have to say title, and its value is overview of Selenium. So property value. That's a pair. Always exists.
But
Property value. Yeah.
there's no property on the second one. Second one where you put and contains.
Href is a property. That is a property. Yeah.
I understood, but I'm saying that you see the first one, the title is the property. The next one, href is also.
Yeah, okay. Let me explain you about this. This is a document object model which contains each object mentioned with multiple properties and values. Okay. Now look at this carefully on the highlighted portion. Okay. A is a type of object. A means it's a hyperlink. Okay, that's what it's short form for. Li means list. Okay. H1 means headline. Div means division. Blah blah blah. Link means hyperlink. Direct link. Okay. This is not the direct hyperlink, but it's lookalike. But it's A. Href is its target location, which is a property. Href property equals about value. There is no colon or semicolon. That's how developers use it. I mean, it's just separated by space, if you can watch it. And title is another property, overview of Selenium. That's the title, right? Now what you see on the screen is text. Okay, now about is another property. There is another property too. Okay, text. Even though it doesn't mention the property name, by default, if it doesn't mention, it's a text property. Take it for granted. Okay. Now A is a HTML wise, you have to close and open. You opened it, you close it. Okay, that's it. Okay, so this particular element has 3 properties, you can actually see. 1 second. Getting a call. Hello. Okay, you got it right. So this particular object has 3 properties. What are those?
href.
And yeah, title and text. Okay, so now let's modify a little bit. You can also include another property, correct? Yeah. Now I can mention and. Okay, every time if you want to mention multiple properties, you just use the word and. Or is for either or. Okay, either this matches or that matches, you want to go with that. Okay, now and. Okay, I don't want to use contains, I want to go for exact match. Then what I can do, equal sign, right? Now for text, it's not at the rate, I told you. Text this equals, what is the text? About. Text is what you see on the screen, right? Right away. Now exactly one match again. This is also a correct XPath. It's a complex XPath, but this is also correct. Now just for example wise, I'm giving this. Okay, so you don't have to mention the parent every time unless you need to. If there is only not just one match, you have to do it. Okay, so these are the examples for simple and complex XPaths. Okay, so any doubts related to XPath so far? We are going to see this again and again, don't worry, this is just introduction to you guys, so that's why. Okay, now can anyone take control and write one XPath quickly? I'll just give control to one of you guys. Anyone? Where is the control? I don't know how to give control. Screen audience. Okay, attendees. Okay, probably. Okay, is Sabina ready? I will give you control quickly so that you can write on my computer XPath.
On your computer?
I will give you keyboard control, don't worry. I mean, this is for hands-on. Okay.
I don't think
Okay,
I'm
now
ready.
just try, don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna delete this. Okay, I'm gonna ask you for writing XPath for let's say this change log. I want to click on this change log, so I want the XPath. Okay, go ahead. So first what you have to do, you have to highlight this. How do you highlight? By clicking on the arrow mark. First arrow, where is the arrow? I showed you. Arrow, this. Click on that.
Oh, no.
And then click on what you want to write XPath about. Did you click on it? Okay, the reason, okay, when you click on it, it turns blue. So okay, you already clicked on it. So go ahead and click on the object. No, you're good.
Okay, click on the
Click on,
object.
correct. Yeah, click on it one time. Just one. Okay, now don't click. See the highlighted portion in the DOM below. What is it? Yes. Now you can write the XPath in find by string, that below. Start writing. That's okay. Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, first you start with what? Relative XPath starts with /. Yes. What is the type of object you are operating upon? What is its type?
A.
A. Correct. Write A. A. Okay, there are many A's. That's why it jumped to the, because it mentions all the A's, 382 A's. So now we will again highlight it. This is a procedure. You have to follow every time. Now you click on it. Click on the arrow again. Click on the, I'll show you. Don't worry. Click on the arrow again. Arrow. No, not that arrow. Blue until it turns blue. Okay. Now click on that. Where is it? It's gone. You clicked on that one, right? So it went to that one. So let's find out the change log. Where was it? Yeah, right here. Now click on that change log again. Now this is a procedure. That's why I'm giving you opportunity. Okay. Now come to your XPath editor below. Okay. Now what is the next one in the syntax? Square bracket. You can note. No, that's a flower bracket. Square bracket.
Square bracket.
Yes.
No, wait.
Square bracket. That is the flower bracket. That is correct. Okay. Now it again went, but if you have noted it down, that's okay. Okay. Now you are what you write, contains. Correct. Right. Contains. Contains means partial match. Contains spelling. Okay. Contains. Bracket open. Parenthesis open.
Opening the bracket.
Normal bracket. Parenthesis. Like you see on 9 number. No. That's a flower bracket. No. The left bracket.
Fast bracket, you will just start, open and close this one.
Yes. 9. Do you see 9 on your keyboard? Just press Shift 9. Press Shift 9. Correct. Yeah. Now contains, you have to mention property name, comma, property value, right? Now what is the property name? Click on that arrow and highlight it again because it's gone. Yeah. Then click on change log. No. Wait. You clicked on it prematurely. Okay, I told you. You see, when you click on this, when you normally click on, what happens? It goes to that page, right? You don't want that. You want to stay on the same page. Now you click on this until it turns blue. Do not click on anything. Now you click on the object. Yeah,
Okay.
that means it will highlight the property. Yeah, you already clicked on it. Blue. No. Don't click. Click again. Black and blue. Do you see the difference? Click on this again.
Click on this.
Click on the arrow again. Is it blue? Blue?
Yes.
Okay, that means you're good to go. Okay, now go and click on the object. Otherwise, it will literally click on this. We don't want that, right? Okay, click on that. Correct. Now you're okay. Don't go any further. Come to the editor. Now watch what is there. What is the property you want to pick and what is the property value you want to pick. Determine that first. Decide.
The property is href.
But that is very ambiguous, right? L7. You can go for it if you want to. Okay, if you want to take href or if you want to take text.
Okay.
Text is good, right? Text is more readable. Change log. So always readability is important. So text. Okay. Text what? Text bracket open bracket close again. I told you, right? For text property, text or not that close. Again open and close. So at the rate is for another properties. Text is for text property. Text bracket open. Okay, you have to deal with lot of this again. Okay, now again it is gone. You have to do this couple times. Okay, now what is a property? Value?
HTTP.
No. We are going for text property. Remember, I told you text property is this one. What you see in the middle, that is the text property. href is not the one we are going. Comma. What is its value? Change log. Put it in the quotes. You have to do this, otherwise there is no other way. XPath is important. Okay, put the quote, single quotes.
What single code?
Oh my god, you don't know single quotes?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to that part.
Single quotes, I'll type single quotes. Okay.
Oh, you mean quotes? I thought you mean codes. Quotes or codes? You mean code?
QUOTES, quotes, not CODES, quotes. Okay. Okay, single quotes, not codes. Okay.
Okay.
Now type its value within the quotes.
Okay.
What is its value? Hard copy. No, wait, don't click on, don't. Okay, escape. Okay, now double click on this. Okay, copy. Do not click on any links because it will take you to that page. You don't. No, wait. Sabina. Okay, what I told you, just double click on this. It will select it automatically. Just Control C. All you have to do is copy. Again, you click on it, will unselect it. Did you Control C?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, come back to your editor and Control V. Paste, copy, paste. Control V. Then code close. Whatever we have opened, you are closing, right? It is that simple. Don't get confused. Now you have to close the bracket, right? Whatever you have opened, you have to close. Close the bracket. Now you have opened another bracket, parenthesis, square bracket. You have to close that too. Close. That's it. Okay. Now see, is it a one match or no match? Wrong, right? It's wrong because it doesn't show one match, right? So what is the mistake?
Mm. Is it double quotes?
No, single quotes only. Actually, you don't even have to mention contents because we want
At the rate.
at the rate is not for text. Okay, let me
Oh,
copy.
okay.
Yeah, so one quick note I'll make here. Okay. Okay. Example, another example is this one. Okay, note is note number 2. If it's text property, you are using text property, then it is use text like this. Okay. If it's any other property, okay, like href, use ampersand. Okay, clear? Note 1, note 2.
But I did put text.
Okay, now let's do it again. Or you, if it is 0 matches, go for href. Don't worry. Okay, you want to take href, change it. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's matching too many. Brackets, remove the brackets because href you don't want brackets. Just at the rate. Yeah. Okay, now href partial text, you go for it. What is it? No, don't click on anything. Watch and type in because if you cannot select that one, it's a link. So go for LJ07LL. That looks like unique. Okay, now change log, replace it with that value. Okay, change log, remove that and type whatever is the partial href you want to take. Okay, what is the partial href? For the highlighted portion, in the highlighted, what is the href?
This part?
Yeah. Just type it. Don't click it because it's a link. It will go to the next page. You want to stay on the page and do the thing. Okay. Don't type the whole thing. Okay. The primary purpose of taking contents means what? Partial. It contains or not, right? I don't want to take the whole thing. If it is the exact match, I will go for the whole thing. It's a partial match. Okay. Just type the last portion, last LJ07LL. As I utter those words, you type it. LL. Is it a match? It's still not matching. Something is wrong, isn't it? What is the mistake? It doesn't even show any matches. Why? Okay, I gave you a tough example. Instead, we can see. Okay, can you do this thing? Previous ID versions here. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, I'm gonna highlight this. Okay, right for this one. because that's a tough one. Okay, simple. Right for this one. Href is okay. Href is okay, Sabina. Just change the value here. Okay, what is the value here? You change.
Yes, the value.
Partial value is fine. You don't have to type whole thing. HTTPS colon blah 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 is not required. Look for a unique keyword that might be unique. That might be displayed in only one time in the code, backend or frontend.
En
Please,
hyphen.
everywhere there is en. Okay, what is it about previous IDE versions, right? So I would go for Selenium IDE, Selenium hyphen IDE. That might be. As you type, it will show the matches. Don't worry. Selenium. Why it is not showing any matches? Okay, something. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay, so okay, let's go for this guy. Okay. Okay, now I'll just start A. Okay, now it is showing matches, right? Now I will write for that one. Okay, now I'll have to do this because it goes to the out of focus. Okay, now it's not going. Okay, A. Now you see the text is 3.14.0, right? I can go for that directly. Okay, so watch this. Text colon text bracket equals, right? This is not the contents partial match. Remember, it's the exact match I'm going for. Quote, copy inside the quotes, right? And close the bracket. See, exact one match. That means I can use this. This is another example. I'll copy this. Okay. Now you do exactly similar to another property. So if you do it, I'll know that you have got it. Okay. So these are exact matches. Exact XPath matches. Exact XPath matches are troublesome. Sometimes it might not be exact. If developer changes it to 3.14.1, then it will fail. So then if I use contains, the advantage is if I just go for 3.14, even if it is 1, 2, 3 here it changes, it doesn't matter, it will still work. So that's the why we go for contains partial match, even though the developer might change the property, right? So if I exactly go for it, it might fail in future. Right now it might pass XPath, it might work. In future, if developer changes this property to 3.14, there are future versions, let's say 3.14.1, it will fail. 14.2, it will fail. So it fails. Yeah,
I
it
have
fails
one
for
question. How
3.15. Yeah, that is for later. We have to do little bit of coding. Okay,
okay?
go ahead.
How do developer is changing? Because this path is automatically is coming. I click
No. This path is not automatic. Developer
because
writes
I
this code,
select
right?
this one 3.14. And this one is the in the unchangeable universal. Okay, and then automatically I use the XPath or any types of locator, and then I cut and paste, and then intentionally developer is change or
Right. Okay. Hold on, Sabina. Who says this is a static? It won't change because if in future the new version comes, they might change to 3.15, right? It is subject to change. Developer changes. That's why you are seeing this page, right? This is not static. It is Google. Some Selenium HQ is maintaining this page. They might change the code. So that code changes, your automation might fail. That's what I'm saying. So accordingly, you have to write the XPath and code. So it has to be totally generic. You got the point, right? This is not constant. If you see after 1 year, the same before 1 year before it was 3.12. So that means it is changed, right?
that one is that time is problem. Yeah, I got it.
So it is subject to change. Do not think it is constant always.
Not universal.
Accordingly, we have to
Okay.
write our code. So basically, we are writing a code on code. This code is there, which is subject to change. We are writing another code based on this code. So it's a different thing. Okay, this is the exact XPath. Okay, now I will. Okay, Sabina, I will give another person this time. Okay, who wanna take it? Rahat Hussein, gonna try?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, I'll give you keyboard and mouse control. Okay, okay. I will ask you to write this code for, write this XML path for this one. See the wiki page. I mean, write that for that one from the scratch. I'll delete. Yeah, go ahead. Highlight it. Yeah, fast. Okay, so now write. Okay, what happens as soon as you write yes, there are 382 yes. Again, you have to repeat this couple times until you find the correct XPath.
Just go to the same.
Yeah, the same.
Okay.
Finish. Okay, so what property you are taking?
See the wiki page?
Yeah, so what is the property name?
href.
No. Href
Oh,
is
sorry. Property name is
text. If it is not mentioned, it is text. That's what I told you, right? Before.
okay.
Right, text. Bracket open. Okay, you have to be careful because if you write something else, it will go out of focus.
Text.
Wrong. Okay, I
Right.
told
Hold on. I got it. Yeah.
You must have noted it down somewhere, right? You just note it down on paper, no, any notebook. Then you watch and write. I'm not asking you to write from the scratch. Okay, text.
So is it exact?
That's what I'm gonna ask you. Are you
Is it?
going for partial match or exact match? That depends on you. What you want.
We'll go for exact match.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, no problem. So equals.
Yeah.
Contains means partial. If you want to
Yeah.
go for partial, go for contains. Otherwise, exact equals. Yeah, perfect. Okay, it's not equals, it's plus sign. Yeah, don't worry. If it's wrong, it will show 0 matches. So you will easily know. Okay, now go for the value. Don't copy from there.
No. I gotcha.
Again, highlight it. Do this couple times. Yeah, that is the only way because it goes out of focus as in when there is a wrong X. Yeah. Now copy from where? Double click on that. Yes. Double click. Copy. Yeah. Now it is correct. Copy and paste it. And yeah, within quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Put
got it. Yeah. I'm gonna do that right now.
single quote. Yeah. That's. And what else? Still 0 matches. So something
I have
is
to close the brackets.
close. Correct.
Oh, that came okay.
Which bracket?
Okay.
Correct. Now one of one. Perfect. That is the correct XPath. Now you copy this whole XPath and put it in the notepad. Like we are going to put it in the Eclipse later. But this is we have to do. This
It's 2
is
o'clock.
the
So copy it.
copy the whole thing. Yeah, because you have to paste it in the code, right? Now we are going to paste it in the notepad. Copy.
Control C. Okay.
Control C. Now I am going to take you to the page. Yeah, now you put it here. This is the example for exact match. Paste. Perfect. Okay, good. So this is I gave you hands-on because you have to do it real time as well as going forward. So I'm gonna take off control now.
Thank you.
Okay, good. What is your name? Rahat, right? Rahat. Good one. Okay, so now going forward. Okay, so we will see this in the Eclipse. tomorrow onwards, because today it's almost over. Okay, compatibility wise, I've already told you, right? These are the old compatibility. So Firefox also we have to do the same thing. So IE driver, Microsoft Edge, don't worry. This is the old compatibility. Okay, do not take it as current compatibility. I'm not going to delete it, but current versions I already gave you in the beginning. Okay, Chrome browsers this, and for Firefox, quickly we are going to see in Firefox too, so don't worry. So Firefox driver is right here. Mozilla Gecko driver is a Firefox driver. Okay, download this one too. Oh, so we are in the DOM. Okay, that's why we can quickly close the DOM by closing this one. If you don't need the DOM, close it. Okay, now look for Chrome browser. You already have Chrome browser, I assume. Firefox driver. Okay, you can download it from here. Pro version is 0.23, because most projects deal with this two of the browsers, Chrome and Firefox. So hence we are primarily Chrome, secondarily Firefox. So okay, which one you want to go for? Windows, if it is 32-bit, 64-bit, based on which you can go. Don't go for Linux and these Unix flavors. So I'm going to download this. Don't go for source code, and we are going to take this and put it in our drivers folder. All right. So drivers, and put it here, and extract files here. Okay, so that is a Gecko driver, correct? So we have Chrome driver, and Gecko driver is a Firefox driver. Don't get confused. So I'm gonna archive this here. Okay. All right. So Gecko driver you have downloaded, and Firefox browser you have to maintain the same version compatible with this one. Okay. Anyway, you download the Firefox browser. It's not opening here. Okay. So Firefox browser is the latest version. Whatever is the latest version, go for it. Okay, so latest version is, you can find in L about, yeah. So okay, see, as in when you see it downloads the latest version. So wait, right, 62.2, 62-bit. If you have 62-bit of Firefox browser, then download the 62-bit of Firefox. I mean, if you have 62-bit of Firefox browser, download 62-bit of Firefox driver. Okay, that has to be exactly matching. So version is this one, compatible, and Firefox driver we already. So these two must be in sync, otherwise it won't work. Okay. Okay, so that's all for downloads. What else? Configuration management tools. Normally we use GitHub or Subversion. Okay, so this is purely based on project. So I'll show you the GitHub because it's open source GitHub. And IBM ClearCase is the IBM paid version, it's a license. Visual Source if is Microsoft. So this is also paid. If project uses it, you can use it. It's the same thing. So we will mostly, I will show you GitHub, for example. Free open source. So you know why configuration management tools are used for? To maintain the code. So there will be many multiple testers, right? Automation testers. So someone works on some piece of code, someone works on other test case. To merge this, to be in sync, and to take updates of others, we have to commit the code to GitHub and take update from GitHub, which is this one. So I will ask you to create one account, each one, so that we can maintain this one also. Okay, So you create one. I already have one. I'll sign in tomorrow and show you. So we can easily change the code that we have put in Eclipse via what? GitHub. So tomorrow I'm going to start this coding using XPath and everything, right? So we are going to put this in the Eclipse because we cannot share the code via emails, right? We can, but it's not a good idea. So I'm going to put that, and you can take it from there. Check out. I'll show you how to do check in and check out. So for the time being, just sign up with the email. After signing up, you can sign in, and you will be able to see my code, and you will be able to take the code from there and download and put it in your own Eclipse, and you can do the examples. I mean, you can whatever homework I give you, right? You can provide that and put that code directly in the check it in the GitHub. Know what I'm saying? Then I will be able to see your homework from there instead of sending the code in the email. This is easier. This is the correct way of doing, like developer standard. So we are going to follow the same standards. Okay. Then what else? Okay, so these are the configuration management tools. We are going to use this, and preferences in Eclipse. These are just like how do you display the code top level comments, the class level comments and everything that I showed you, right? Class level comments somewhere. Yeah, like this. You can prefix it. So which is later on, not right now. So GitHub, you go for desktop version or web version, either way. You can download it too. Okay. And we have seen some XPath, right? CSS selectors will be like this. So I don't recommend this. It's absolute CSS selectors look like this. Parent and arrow, child, one, child, its child, its child, its child, until your descendant object, which is not a correct way. So I'll prefer you to go for XPath. XPath generated by browser will be look like this. Again, this is not the relative XPath. These are absolute XPaths, and ambiguity is there. So these are just for example. Do not go for it. Relative XPaths are like this. Everything is clearly mentioned, specified, like what is the type, what is the property name, what is the property value. Everything is clear. Okay, so this is the parent, and if I want to use child div second object, I can go for this. So we will see this on the go. So these are just for your introduction purpose. And table XPaths, we will see a lot of tables in here, right? So if I go for XPath here, or you can press Control Shift I. That's a shortcut. Yeah. So if I look at this, this might be in a table, hidden table. Okay. So div, all these divs are coming from a table. So you wanna go for that one too. So tomorrow we will see all this. All right. So I'm going to shade today's example until this portion. Okay guys, so that's all for today. Today we have coded XML paths, XPaths, and tomorrow we'll start automation with XML paths, XPaths. Okay, so any questions in today's class? Everybody download this and be ready for tomorrow's class, and we'll start tomorrow. Okay then, yeah. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Any
Thank
question?
you.
Okay.